Alright, so here is what the story actually looked like when I did get it done. See, it's a little bit longer, a little more detailed. And I did 2 versions of it in one notepad. Now this one is the longer cut, 13 seconds, so I only used one. These are 2 shorter cuts. They equal 12 seconds. So I have 2 cuts that are shorter, 1 cut that's longer. That's kind of my standard when it comes to writing, when I'm able to use this type of software. Now, here's why everybody came, so we can learn about a newscast. So I have a blank screen now, right? Okay. In my file log, at the very bottom, I have what's called a news template. Right there. It has 2 things in it. My news sounder and my teaser sounder. Here's my news sounder. Keeping you informed. Here's my teaser sounder. So I'm able to record them both in here. So let's highlight this and do rip and read. See this little button right here? Alt-P, rip and read. I select Notepad. Okay, doesn't make a change here, does it? But right here on Notepad, it embedded that sound into my Notepad. So there it is. Alright. Now, let's just do a 2-minute newscast, maybe a 3 while I'm talking here. So we come back to my file log, which is where all my stories are. Now these are my last 4 that I've done. So let's start off with the Cleveland fire, because that's the story we just wrote. Rip and read. Select Notepad. Go back to Notepad. It puts it right under my sound, because that's where my cursor was. So I have my intro right there, and I have my body right there. Now my next, I put a little line here. Not everybody does this that uses this type of program. I do, because I like to see what stops and what doesn't need to stop. And those lines tell me I'm at a story break, and I'm on to the next story. So I go back to my file log. Now after the Cleveland fire, let's see, what do I want? I want, okay, the government summit with Senator Jim Butterworth and Cornelia. That's another 2-clip story. So see, we're getting a lot of sound right here. So I'll highlight that, and I'll also rip and read. Remember, that takes my thing that's on this screen and puts it on my other screen. Rip and read. Select Notepad, and it goes to my Notepad, and there it is. So now I have my sounder, my first story with 2 clips, and my second story again with 2 clips. Let's go a little more. I'm going to put another break there, alright? And then I'm going to give myself another space or 2, so you see that the cursor is always below there. Now when I embed text, it's going to go to where the cursor is. So let's go back to the file log. I have my Cleveland fire, I have my government summit. Now, let's see. Okay, these kids want to make a monument to public safety members, all right? So, heck, for the heck of demonstration, here is another story with 2 cuts. Now, the previous story, you see, it's a longer cut, it has 1. These 2 shorter cuts has 2, even though in this case, these 2 equal longer than this 1. That's kind of uncommon, but it's okay for what I'm doing with it. Rip and read, right there. Select Notepad. It goes to Notepad. Okay, so we've got us a pretty long newscast here. We've got 3 stories and 6 pieces of sound. Now here's how this sound is going to work. Hopefully I won't mess up, because that would look really bad and I don't have time to start over. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this newscast, and I'm going to turn off my mic periodically so that you can hear that I'm playing sound, and then watch my screen as I do this. Okay, grabbing my headphones here. Now my mic's on. So we go back here to our start menu. We open Adobe, which from what I understand everybody in the company is using. There's a new Adobe window. Start. Okay. I'm recording in mono. It doesn't matter which you record in. I know folks prefer stereo, and that's okay. For this, I prefer mono, and that's just where we are. So here we go. You see my levels are good. My levels are actually a little hot. Now my computer level is also good because I just set it earlier when I was doing some things, so I know that both are good. and it's good to go. And I can test it if I want, but for this I don't need to, and I really need to move on with this. So here we go. Here's my newscast. You see we have our sounder, our stories with sound, and on down the line. That's a lot of text, isn't it, guys? All right, here we go.